Colin Bell flew more than 50 bombing raids over Nazi Germany as a member of the Pathfinders, a hand-picked group of the RAF's most skilled pilots and navigators.
But now he's taken to the skies in quite a different way. Abseiling 17 stories, which is 280 feet off the Royal London Hospital from the highest elevated helipad in Europe. Extraordinary for anyone, but he's 102 years old and completed this challenge to raise money for charity. And you can see in this footage just how much of a feat it was. And I'm pleased to say Colin is back on solid ground, although I got the feeling probably not for long, and is here with Mark Vickers, former director of the London Air Ambulance, which, of course, is one of the charities, Colin, that you did this for.
Yes.
What made you want to do this?
Well, very simple. I wanted to raise money for 3 fantastic charities: the London Air Ambulance Service, who organised the Abseil for me. That's one. Then the other one was the nursing service. Wonderful. I mean, we're so indebted to every nurse that looks after us. And I wanted to support them. And, of course, my regular charity, the RAF Benevolent Fund. Once RAF, always RAF, and they look after you. So, except I don't need looking after at the moment, I'm looking after them.
That's not a surprise. Colin, what was it like? I mean, you've done some daring bombing missions in the past, but what was that moment like when you went over the top of the building and you're suddenly dangling 280 feet in the air?
Well, I thought it made me thoughtful.
Thoughtful? And what were you thinking about?
It seemed a long way down.
Had you done much abseiling in the past? I mean, are you quite a daredevil?
No, I wasn't scared. I was thoughtful.
Just thoughtful.
Yeah, that was his first attempt, so...
Wow.
And established a new world record as well.
Absolutely. So you're now officially the oldest person to have done an abseil, is that right?
Possibly.
It needs to be verified.
I don't have anybody else, but who am I to say?
Well, we'll get Guinness on the case. We'll get that verified, Mark.
Yeah.
Now, look, you must get people asking you all the time, because you're just a ball of energy, how you can do a challenge like this and all the other things you do in your life at 102. What is the secret?
Well, I think the honest answer is that it's the genes that you were born with. And if you live a reasonable life and you're lucky enough to the genes that I've been born with, and you don't get involved in the sex, drugs and rock and roll scene, you might, with a bit of luck, last until 102 or perhaps a few more years. The amusing answer that I give is it's
There's something more amusing.
of exercise, alcohol, and the love of good women with the odd bad one thrown in.
Sounds like a great motto.
How's that?
That's perfect,
That's pretty
Colin.
good, Colin.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Mark, there's something really important about people like Colin that want to support the Air Ambulance and the other charities supporting, because without their endeavours, and it's all the more exciting when it's somebody who can get the profile, because Colin's 102 and he's willing to do this, you know, the charity like yours, it's so sort of benefits so much from them, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's absolutely vital to keep the appetite for giving going, because these charities, through these hard times, and we understand giving is difficult when finances are under constraint. So endeavours like Colin's, raising the profile of the charities, is just really important, and it's hugely appreciated.
Of course it is, and vital for everyone. Now, listen, it's a very exciting day because we've got you here, Colin, but this is an important day for Colin, isn't it? Explain what this is an anniversary
Can I break in here?
Yes, you can.
This is not about me. This is about raising money for the charities.
Of course.
And I'm just a vehicle that enables the donors to give the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
You're the catalyst.
You're the catalyst, and you're... but
A good word.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's got a few of them, actually. He's got a few of them in his pocket.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
look, we want to celebrate you a little bit because you have been extraordinary in service for the country, haven't you? And this is an anniversary of one of your most terrifying missions of the past.
That's true, yeah.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this was the occasion that, due to my inexperience, I allowed myself to get bracketed by enemy gunfire. And one shell landed underneath and it lifted up the aircraft and it cut off the fuel supply. I didn't realise it had done that, but that's what happened. We got lifted up and the propellers lost power and they were just windmilling around.
Wow.
And it caused us a bit of concern. And
This is at 25,000 feet over Berlin.
25,000 feet over Berlin. And, but after a while, the power came back and I aimed the aircraft away from Berlin. And I leaned across to my lumberjack, who had said to me at the time that it happened, "What do we do now?" Which I thought was a rather silly question. And I said, well, we wait. And we waited. And I said, the power came on. And I edged the aircraft away from Berlin. And I leaned across to him and I said, you weren't frightened, were you, Doug? And he said, no, I wasn't frightened. I was bloody terrified.
Now, that is the title of this book.
That's
now,
right.
you called him your lumberjack. He was your Canadian navigator, wasn't he?
He was
He was
indeed.
presumably a lumberjack before the war, when everybody got
Correct.
drafted
So
up.
his-
Yeah.
But let me say that he was the most brilliant navigator. I was very lucky to have him. I told him so. And I added modestly, you're probably lucky to have me. And he must have saved my life on many occasions. And after he finished his tour with me, and he was with me right through all 50 trips, after he finished his tour with me, he went back and took a degree in forestry, and I believe he finished up as president of the Forestry Commission or something of that order. So he was a brilliant man.
Never far from the
I
trees.
can just imagine you two. I feel like I'm in the presence of Maverick and he was your goose. It's like they were Top Gun.
Yeah.
I can just see it. Now, look at you.
No idea
Oh,
what
I'm
you're
so sorry. Have I compared you to American aviators? We don't want that, do we? We don't want that. You don't like that.
So this book has been written by his son.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ian Redmond.
Ian wrote this book.
Yeah.
What's it like having someone write a book about you, Colin? Because I don't doubt you play down what you've
let's put
done.
it this way. I gave him a lot of the material. So I wasn't really surprised when I read the book.
Are you pleased with it, though?
Huh?
Are you pleased with the book?
Very pleased. I think it's an excellent book. It's very, very readable. If you want a really in-depth book, then I recommend Will Ardell's Pathfinders. And I was here a couple of years ago with Charlotte Hawkins.
That's
right.
We were talking about Will Ardell's book.
Funny you remember
Will
Charlotte.
Ardell's book goes into depth, and it deals with pathfinders in general. That is purely about Doug and myself. Yeah.
I wonder if Charlotte comes into the good women or bad.
Oh.
We don't know, do we? We don't know. Look, you're so modest about the things you've done all the way through, and your energy is huge. But we all are very aware, Ben and I are very aware of the massive debt we have to everybody of your generation and the service that you've given to your country.
Yes, Kate, but let me break in here.
Do?
This was a fight for survival. It wasn't a question of being a hero or anything of that sort. You just had to get stuck in and make sure that that we won the war, because the Germans had got some very nasty plans for what they were going to do if ever they subjugated us. So I don't think we thought about casualties or heroism or anything. We just got stuck in to winning the war. And as Churchill once said, the Germans are either at your throat or at your feet. It was our job to make sure they remained at our feet. And we won the war, and thank God we did.
Absolutely, here to that. I have some very good friends that are RAF pilots now, Colin. I wonder, have you ever been in any of the fast jets, in any of our typhoons or tornadoes or any of those?
No, as I put it, I've never had the pleasure of flying in a blow lamp.
Well, I tell you what, I think that would be thoroughly entertaining for them to take you up to show you what it's like.
Maybe that's your next challenge.
I was once chased by a jet, a German jet.
Were you?
But I got rid of him. And, well, I wouldn't be here today, would I?
No, that's true.
I got rid of him.
How did you get rid of him, though?
He could go 100 miles an hour faster than I could, but ordinary propeller-driven night fighters couldn't catch up with me. But, of course, he could, and he was quite a menace. But, as I say, I got rid of him. The Airbus brought one over recently to RAF Coningsby and invited me to go up there and see it. And I walked up to it and I put a hand on it and they said to me, how do you feel about it? And I said, well, I'm glad I've seen it, but now I don't want to see the bloody thing again.
Colin, we could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for doing what you did, Mark. I'm sure you'd like to echo those thanks as well.
No, so, and thank you to everyone that supported Colin's fundraising.
Yes. Thanks to everyone. I had marvellous support, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about fundraising for these three marvellous charities.
I tell you what, if you could hang around, I'd quite like to talk about some of those bad women as well. I think that could do with some guidance there, Colin.
How much time have you got then?
That's just a throwaway line.
Don't spoil it for him.